Hello beautiful people, and welcome back to my channel. If you are a new subscriber, welcome, and if you are a return subscriber, welcome back. Everything that I use in this video will be listed down below. Also, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss whenever I post another video. Right now I'm just showing you a tissue test, which basically showing you that no foundation transfers and only a little bit transferred, and I feel like that's in certain places that I did not add enough powder, but barely anything came off. You will see a little bit of foundation on the collar of my shirt under my neck because I don't add any powder there. Now I'm going in with my Rude City of Neon Lights, and I'm starting off with this orange shade. This part of the video is sped up because you won't really be able to see as clear as you will on the other side. So when I go to the other side, it will be slowed down. But I'm starting off with that lighter orange, and using that same brush, I'm gonna go in with the darker orange. With the lighter orange, I wanted that shade to blend in more with the next shade that I'm gonna be using versus this darker orange. So you will see me go back into that in just a minute. And I used the same brush, I just flipped it over to go to the next side. So now I'm going in with that yellow, going directly on top as well as above that lighter orange. And it's okay if it goes over the darker orange as well, because I'm going to continue to blend all of those colors together so I don't have any harsh lines. Mainly focusing on the darker orange than the lighter one, because the lighter one didn't really show through that good. Now I'm gonna be cutting my crease using a white concealer. And if you're a person that struggles with doing a cut crease, it's best to do it this way because it will add the line for you. I call it a guide method because that line is actually creating a guide at the top for you. And as you can see, I still have a little bit of that orange peeking through. That's the look I'm going for. And I'm just filling in the areas that need to be filled in, making sure that the crease part is more rounded. And right here I messed up, so I just went in with a Q-tip and wiped away some of that concealer, and that way you don't have to start the whole process over. And then went back and took my time when filling it in. And while I let that concealer dry down a little bit, I'm going back in with that orange just to help blend out the edges of that so that I don't have any harsh lines. And I'm just taking the lighter orange because I love the way the transition is. And I'm going to go in and now set that concealer with this white eyeshadow. And I'm just tapping on top of it. You also can do the same thing with translucent powder, but I love the white in this palette, so that's why I used it. And to blend that out even further, I'm just going to go in with my hand to make sure that I have no harsh lines. And I just took a different brush to add a little bit of orange to this look. Now we're going to do the same steps on this side, but I'm going to take my time and explain everything all over again. Right now I'm just carving out my brows using some concealer, and I like to use a concealer that's similar to my skin tone. It may look a little lighter on camera, but it's not too light and it's not too dark. It's kind of like the perfect shade. Now I'm going to take my concealer brush to dry that concealer down a little bit, as well as blend it out so everything is nice and even before going in with any type of powders. And you want to make sure that you use a eyeshadow base or a concealer as a base before going in with any type of eyeshadow, especially if it's very pigmented. Now I'm setting that concealer with some translucent powder, and you don't need as much as I just used right here. And then I'm just dust it away. But before I dust it away, right here, I just took my concealer brush to help blend it down just a little bit before dusting it. Now I'm going in with that same palette, and I'm gonna go in with that lighter orange shade. Again, everything that I use will be listed down below. And I'm going to apply this as if I was applying it to my crease. And you want to tap it into place as well as blend it out. You don't want to just stack eyeshadow on top of each other without blending. Blending when it comes to your makeup is key. I can't stress it enough. I say it in almost every video. Now going in with that darker orange, flipping that brush over and applying that to the outer corner first, building that up to my liking. I like the darker orange. It is so pretty to me. And I'm just going to continue to build this up as well as go over that other orange just so I can make sure that everything is nicely blended and I have the right what's the word I'm looking for? The right consistency. And now I just flip my brush back over, going in with that lighter orange shade to help blend out that darker orange just a little bit before going in with that yellow. Now with the yellow, I'm just going to take enough, apply it on top as well as above that orange, making sure that I build the color up until I get the shade that I want. And with this, you don't have to do this after you apply the orange. You can actually go in with that yellow first and then go in with the orange. It's 100% up to you and how you want to do it. You always want to do what works for you and not what works for somebody else, and then tweak it a little bit to make it your own. I'm going back into that darker orange for the outer corner because I wanted that to be a lot darker, and I'm just going to build that area up a little bit. And I'm taking that white concealer, using that guide method, applying that directly to my lash line and then looking up. And where it stops is where you want it to, that concealer to cover the rest of that area. If it goes over the orange, don't worry because you can go over the orange a little more once you're finished. And I'm just blending in that concealer, making sure as I go along, I'm moving that concealer towards the back just a little bit. Not too much because I don't want to cover the whole thing. Now I'm just patting down, making sure there's no gaps in between that concealer, that everything is nice and covered. Now I'm going back in with that lighter orange and blending out from the darker orange into that white, making sure that I build that up a little bit. And I'm doing this because I don't want any harsh lines and I want that orange to kind of cover up that white just a little bit. I'm also going to take that darker orange to kind of blend that in there a little bit as well because I don't want that to disappear between the other orange. And to help set that concealer, I'm going in with this white eyeshadow and I'm just going to pack that on top of that, going over that orange just a little bit as well, making sure that everything is nice and covered when doing this. Again, if you want, you can use a translucent powder as well to do this step. Without adding anything else to the brush, I'm just going over that lighter orange, making sure that, again, I blend that out so I don't have any harsh lines between that orange and that white. Now I'm taking my finger to blend that out even further. Now I'm going to go in with some primer, making sure that my face is fully primed before going in with foundation. And I want to make sure that this sit for a little while so it can be nice and tacky before going in with anything else. I almost forgot to conceal the top portion of my brow, so that's what I'm going to be doing now. I like to take my time when doing this step because I don't want to have to start all over again. Sometimes I use primers and sometimes I don't. It just depends on what look I'm going for. Primer does not always work for me, so as long as my face is nicely moisturized, I don't always use a primer. And I just added a little bit of foundation to the back of my hand before applying it to my face. And I'm using the stippling method, which I'm just pressing it in, and then towards my neck area, I am going to buff that in. I love this foundation because the coverage that it gives, I don't have to do any extra steps. That's what I like in most of my foundations that I use, is that I don't have to really build it up too much, but build it up enough so that I can get the full coverage that I want. And as you can see, this foundation is like, I didn't even have to use that much and it covered everything that I needed it to cover. And to help set that foundation just a little bit, as well as remove excess product, I'm going in with this triangle puff. And now I'm just taking that same white concealer and using that as my concealer for now. And I just wanted to test this out to see how it worked. I did see it like a while ago on a video and I was like, oh, I would never do that. But for today, I was like, why not? And I just applied a little bit and blended it out right away. I did not let this sit for too long because I did not know how I would like it. And I'm just going to blend it out the way I would any other concealer, making sure that everything is nicely blended before going in with any more product. And I know I may look crazy, but you just have to trust the process, as in I had to trust the process myself, because at first I was like, yeah, no, this ain't it. But once everything came together, it looked gorgeous. Now I'm just going in with my second concealer and I'm just applying a little bit in the inner corner, making sure that I apply just enough so that I can cover everything. Then I went in with a lighter concealer for the center of my forehead and my nose because I wanted that to really be a little brighter as well. So now I'm just blending out that concealer the same way that I did the first one, leaving that inner corner there just a little bit because I wanted to try out another method that I seen that I wanted to try. And all I did was spray my triangle puff with some setting spray and then blend out the rest of that concealer. And I love the way that that dried down without leaving my under eye super dry. And I did this using a very light hand. And I did notice on the left side, it kind of took away some of that makeup, but that is fine because it worked, and it worked out in the end, excuse me. And now I'm just setting underneath my eye with some translucent powder. I'm just dusting away that excess powder before going in with this pressed powder. And this pressed powder is dark. And I was hesitant to use it at first because sometimes it make my makeup look darker. But I wanted it to kind of help blend out that lightness underneath my eyes, which it did. And with this powder, it is like a tan shade. And I wanted to highlight under there just the front portion a little bit so that I can still have that really highlighted look under there because this is a bright eye. I wanted everything to be kind of stand out a little bit. Taking that same powder and applying that right under if I was to add my bronzer. I didn't add any bronzer yet, but as you can see, it still gave the illusion that I did. But I will go in with some bronzer right after I do this step. Now I'm just going to apply the bronzer the way that I normally do. And I'm dusting away some of that powder underneath my eye as I apply it, just a little bit, so that I can get it in the area that I really want it to be in. Now I'm just going to dust away the rest of that powder, making sure that I take my time when doing this so that I don't have any powder left behind. And as you can see, I still have that little area on the left side that kind of got wiped away a little bit when I added the spray, but everything will work out once I'm finished the whole entire look. And I'm going to go over my lips with a brown lip liner and then take some of that orange, the darker one, and go over it just a little bit and set that also with some translucent powder. And I'm going to spray my face and do my lashes off camera. I hope you all enjoyed this video as much as I did making it. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss whenever I post another video. And again, everything that I use in this video will be listed down below, and I will see you in the next one.